Representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi visits Islamic centers in Australia. Sheikh Mohammed Taqi Zakwi, a representative of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the US, and the head of Imam Shirazi World Foundation, traveled to Australia in order to make visits to Shia religious centers in this country. Mr. Zakwi explains more about this trip in a phone call. Please stay tuned.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. During my presence at the temporary office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in the Hajj of 2018, I learned that the Grand Jurist would like someone to visit Australia and thank the large number of Islamic centers in this country for their non-stop and extensive activities. So on the 1st of Muharram, I visited Sydney. There are more than 30 Islamic centers in Sydney that are run by different communities. The Afghans shape up the majority of these communities. The list goes on with Iraqi nationals, Lebanese, Pakistanis, and etc. In my visits to these Islamic centers, I really enjoyed the high spirits of these Shia communities, and they ran many religious programs to protect their youth and families against irreligious beliefs. Besides, they had activities aimed at introducing Shia Islam to other communities as well. Our primal purpose of this visit was to convey the message of the Grand Jurist to the Shia communities in Australia. This content of this message can be broken down into two parts. The first part was about protecting the youth against heretic beliefs and helping them reach high scientific levels. In fact, the Shia youth are representatives of Shia in their environment who can serve and spread Islam at universities and in their businesses. The second part is about the Muslim communities. Muslims should practice self-purification, empower themselves to resist the prohibitions, and represent an ideal community in this country. In the past, the Shia were a minority, but this has changed now. In some parts of the world, the Shia are the majority. There are more than 30 Shia TV channels that broadcast programs 24/7 in different languages. Of course, most of these TV channels are dependent to the Grand Jurist Ayatollah Shirazi. On the whole, all these TV channels serve the purpose of preaching Shia Islam in the world. Even the Westerners admit the fact that Shia are a pure nation. They know that the Shia don't get involved in terrorism, violence and wars, and this is a great advantage. During my trips, I talked about this advantage and other similar ones to the communities I visited. Then I moved to Adelaide. There are more than 10 Islamic centers in this city. I met with some scholarly and academic figures in this city. I could make speeches in only a few of these Islamic centers, but in all of my visits, I met with the custodians of these Islamic centers and conveyed the messages of the Grand Jurist to them. Melbourne was our next stop. I managed to visit 7 Islamic centers during my short stay in this city. There is, however, an issue which has been neglected. There are many Iranian and Afghan refugees who have traveled to Australia, but the Australian government refuses to accept them. These refugees live in camps under very poor conditions. I heard many horrible stories from those camps. I had face-to-face meetings with some people in those camps. We gathered a report about the conditions of Shia Muslims in those camps and sent this report to the Shia Rights Watch and Islamic Nonviolence Organization to work on it. I assume in near future, this will receive enough attention from the media and will be discussed at the UN. It is a very big tragedy to see that Shias have to run away from their home countries because they can't have freedoms there. And when they arrive to foreign countries, they face strict immigration laws. The interesting point, however, was that some Shias had already started preaching Shia Islam in their camps. They held Ashura commemoration there in those poor conditions. The number of Shia in Australia is considerable. I believe that the future of Shia Islam in Australia will be very bright and satisfying.